Before the cross, there was the sword. Before the crown, there was the bow. In the heart of Europe, Hungary was forged not in prayer, but in the thunder of hooves and the roar of pagan warriors. This is the story of a forgotten alliance, a pact between the nomadic Magyar horsemen and the mighty Byzantine Empire. This partnership transformed fierce raiders into a powerful kingdom, a chapter critical to Hungary's birth. The Magyars were not mindless barbarians, but skilled diplomats and soldiers, led by men like Árpád and Bulcsú. Their alliance with Constantinople gave them legitimacy and military support, while the Byzantines gained a powerful proxy. Let's journey back to an age of violence and political maneuvering to uncover how a pact, not a prayer, created a nation. The Magyars, a confederation of 7 tribes from the Ural Mountains, swept into the Carpathian Basin around 895 under Árpád. Masters of the horse and bow, they conquered rather than settled, displacing local populations and establishing a new power base. Árpád united the tribes, forming a cohesive force and a system of governance rooted in military prowess. The Carpathian Basin became their fortress, offering rich lands and security. From here the Magyars looked out on a Europe ripe for the taking, joining the ranks of Vikings and Saracens as a new disruptive force. Their arrival was no mere migration. It was the deliberate creation of a new state. The Magyars were warriors, not just settlers, and their adventures were just beginning. Soon, they would unleash a storm of raids that would terrify Europe for decades. With their homeland secured, the Magyars launched a half-century of raids across Europe. Their cavalry tactics, lightning-fast charges, feigned retreats, and relentless arrows were unmatched. They struck as far as France, Spain, and Italy, sacking monasteries and demanding tribute. Their mobility and psychological warfare made them seem unstoppable, often causing cities to surrender without a fight. These raids enriched the Magyars and consolidated their power, but also made them infamous. They acted as mercenaries, exploiting Europe's divisions and destabilizing kingdoms. But as European powers adapted, the era of raiding neared its end. The Magyars needed new strategies and new allies. Facing pressure from the west, the Magyars turned to the Byzantine Empire for alliance. The Byzantines, masters of diplomacy, saw the Magyars as a useful tool against their rivals, especially Bulgaria. Emperor Leo VI formalized the alliance, hiring Magyar mercenaries to attack Bulgaria, shifting the balance of power in the Balkans. Magyar leaders visited Constantinople, receiving gifts, court titles, and even baptism, more political than spiritual. This partnership brought the Magyars wealth, legitimacy, and exposure to Byzantine statecraft. The alliance was more than military. It was a cultural and political exchange, planting seeds of transformation in Magyar society. The Magyars were learning how to become more than raiders. They were becoming statesmen. The defeat at Lechfeld in 955 forced the Magyars to change. Grand Prince Géza centralized power, curbed tribal chiefs, and invited Christian missionaries, playing Byzantium and Rome against each other. He replaced tribal structures with counties, built forts, and promoted settled life over nomadism. This was a revolution, moving from steppe traditions to a European state. Tensions rose between old pagan warriors and modernizers, but the transformation was unstoppable. By aligning with Western Europe, Géza and his son Stephen set Hungary's future course. The Magyars were no longer outsiders. They were becoming a principality on the verge of kingship. The alliance with Byzantium had evolved into a sophisticated diplomatic strategy. Géza's son Stephen completed Hungary's transformation. Baptized and crowned by the Pope in 1000, Stephen made Hungary a sovereign Christian kingdom, independent of the Holy Roman Empire. He crushed pagan revolts, unified the country, and established counties, laws, and a church hierarchy. Latin became the language of state, and Hungary joined the mainstream of Western Europe. Stephen's reign marked the end of the pagan era and the birth of a stable, respected kingdom. The former raiders were now defenders of Europe's frontier. Stephen was later canonized, becoming Hungary's patron saint. The sword had become a scepter, and Hungary had secured its place on the map of Europe. In Budapest's Heroes' Square, statues of Árpád and the pagan chieftains stand alongside Christian kings. Modern Hungary honors both its Christian and pagan roots, seeing its origins in the strength and cunning of its early leaders. Festivals and reenactments celebrate this dual heritage, keeping the memory of the steppe warriors alive. The legacy of Árpád and Bulcsú is national pride, not barbarism. Hungary's identity is a fusion of East and West, pagan and Christian, warrior and statesman. The forgotten alliance with Byzantium was a turning point, shaping a nation that thrives on adaptation. Hungary's story is a testament to the power of transformation. A saga forged in both the thunder of hooves and the tolling of church bells.